Hey guys, so today I wanted to go over all of the various email metrics, how they are interrelated, and also what are their definitions. The reason why this is important is because you don't want to make a mistake during the optimization stages when it comes to optimizing your email systems for your brand or your clients. Or even worse, like if you lose a sale when you're selling to a potential prospect about your services and you simply don't know the numbers and you lose a sale as a result. So yeah, let's jump into it. Every metric around emails is all interrelated. So to understand the relationships between them is absolutely crucial when it comes to decision making during optimization. But first, you're gonna need to know each of their definitions, right, before you dive into any of their relations. So on this side of the screen, you're gonna see a list of all of the various metrics that you can have when it comes to email marketing. So that would be your open rate, click-through rate, your conversion rate, unsub rate, which is also like a churn rate or just the rate at which people unsubscribe. And also there are other like more abstract, let's say, metrics, right, to understand. And that would be your traffic quality. So who are the visitors the web visitors are actually seeing your lead magnets, and also the lead quality, and lastly, your offer quality, right? So these three things aren't things that you could kind of like strictly measure, but understanding what they are will lead to you being able to build out a better email system. So let's jump into the definitions of all of these metrics. So when it comes to open rate, it's the number of people who open the email, aka who sees the email, right, over the number of people who actually receive the email. So let's say you send out 1,000 emails and only 100 people open, then that would be 100 over 1,000, giving you 10% open rate, right? Now, when it comes to click rates, this is essentially the number of people who click over the number of people who receive the email. Now, this is where people kind of like get a bit confused and make a bit of a mistake. People don't realize what the difference between click rate and click-through rate is, right? They are not the same thing. So click-through rate is the number of clicks over the number of people who actually open the email. So click-through rates, in my opinion, are kind of like a better metric to look at when it comes to determining the quality of the content of your email, right? Because sometimes it's not the content's fault that people aren't clicking, it's actually the subject line's fault, because you're getting a really high click-through rate, a super low click rate. Most likely it's just because the people who are actually receiving the email, they're not opening it, right? So other metrics would be conversion rate. So conversion rate, again, there's kind of like two types of conversion rates. One conversion rate is the number of people that convert over the number of people that receive the email. But again, in my opinion, a better metric for this would be the number of people who convert over the number of people who open, right? Because without someone actually opening an email, it doesn't really matter if the content is good or not, right? It's subject line, the deliverability, or something to do with the segment, something is off, right? And if someone's not seeing the email, then how are they gonna know whether they wanna click or not, right? When it comes to the unsub rate, aka the churn rate, this is basically how many people churn for every send you do. So for example, if you send an email to, let's say, 1,000 recipients and I don't know, like five people unsubscribe, right? That would be a 0.05% unsub rate or churn rate. When it comes to less quantifiable metrics such as traffic quality, lead quality, and offer quality, what they are essentially is, for the traffic quality, it's where the traffic is actually coming from, and also what is the intent of that traffic. So what I mean by that is, for example, if you're getting a bunch of traffic organically through Google SEO or YouTube SEO, most likely people are seeking out your product, right? So their intent is going to be much higher than someone who just saw your content on like their For You page on TikTok. So it's about how qualified the traffic is, and also how high is their intent in terms of them wanting to actually buy from you. When it comes to lead quality, this is basically the same thing as traffic, except being applied to leads. Now, if your traffic quality is super low, most likely your lead quality is super low, unless you have like some really strong qualification process. So lead quality and traffic quality are, generally speaking, going to be very closely correlated, but they're not quite the same thing. And lastly, and this is perhaps the most abstract of them all, and it's going to be the hardest thing for you to actually measure, and that's offer quality. So how well your offer actually resonates with your target segment, with your target audience, and with basically whoever sees your emails, right? And this doesn't actually just apply to emails, by the way. It can be applied to ads, your direct response content, anything along those lines. Right? So now that you understand each definition, let's go over some of the relationships. When it comes to open rates, your open rate is affected by your deliverability, the subject line, preview text, and sender name combo, and to an extent profile picture occasionally as well. And it is also affected by the segment that you're sending to. So for example, if your deliverability is on point and your subject line is like absolute fire, but the segment you're sending to never checks the inbox, or is like a segment that hasn't engaged with any of your emails for a very, very long time, then guess what? They're not gonna open that email. So when it comes to your click rate, this is the metric that is going to be kind of one of the more relevant ones when iOS 15 hits. But for now, I still like to look at click-through rates, because click-through rates are, in my opinion, a better indication of the quality of the content within the email, right? So the click-through rate is purely affected by how good your email is and also how good the offer is, right? So if your offer is like super, super attractive, for example, you're solving a huge problem for your customer for like a fraction of the price compared to competitors, then most likely your click-through rate is going to be pretty high. Or if you give some insane discount, I'm talking like pretty much giving your products away for free, right? Your click-through rate is going to be absolutely insane. Whereas your click rate is going to be a combination of the open rate and the click-through rate, which is why I prefer to look at open rates and click-through rates separately. Now, when it comes to conversion rate, this is basically depending on the conversion rate of your landing page, your offer, and also it just doesn't resonate with the customer whatsoever. For example, your conversion rate would be super, super high if the product that you're selling is like solving a really, really big pain for the customer, right? So for example, if like you're the only company in the world selling like painkillers and you have a bunch of people who broke their legs on your list that really are in like massive pain, and the only thing that's gonna like, you know, soothe that pain is your painkiller, guess what? They're probably gonna convert at a stupidly high rate. Despite, even if you're driving traffic, by the way, to like a really terrible non-converting landing page, right? They're gonna find a way to buy your stuff. But if your product is like barely product market fit and it definitely has a utility purpose, other factors that could affect conversion rate would be like the conversion rate of your landing page, for example. If it doesn't convey clearly the benefits and the transformation of your product, then people might not find enough urgency and actually pull the trigger. Other stuff would be things like your lead quality. If your lead quality is super low, then you know people aren't aren't gonna buy from you because you have the wrong people on your list to start with. So what I mean by that is, one of the biggest mistakes I see brands making is they run giveaway campaigns, right? Where they encourage people to sign up on their list and they get super, super high volumes of signups. But when it comes to actually selling to those leads, they're not the highest converting. So to give you an idea of that, and this is another way in which brands can go wrong with this, right? Is when you do a giveaway, make sure you're only ever giving away your products. Or if you're doing like a collaboration with another company, you're giving your products and their products into one giveaway and like cross-pollinating your lists, that's totally fine. The giveaways that I don't like to run for my clients are like cash giveaways, for example, or giveaways of anything else that's not really related to your product. So for example, I've seen big companies do like giveaways of brand new cars in order to kind of like attract leads, when that's not the kind of like quality of leads that you want, right? Because cash is attractive to everyone, whereas if you're selling, I don't know, like health supplements, for example, right? People who want cash aren't necessarily going to be people who loves fitness and loves taking supplements and loves caring about their health. You see what I mean? Now let's talk about the less quantifiable metrics such as traffic quality, lead quality, and offer quality, right? So when it comes to traffic quality, as I mentioned earlier, it's all about where your traffic is coming from. Is it from like a high intent source? And how much trust have they built with your brand prior to like, you know, going onto your website? So for example, influencer traffic typically converts at around 1.5% per view, generally speaking. So that's from my personal experience. I don't know what the industry average is amongst influencers because I'm not one. So traffic quality from influencers generally have a slightly higher converting percentage compared to, let's say, organic TikTok. Reason being is because the person watching those videos, they already trust the influencer. So you're basically hijacking the authority and the trust of the influencer and their audience and just putting your brand in front of that person, right? So traffic quality is absolutely huge because traffic quality will translate into lead quality most of the time. And as I said earlier, when it comes to conversion rate, lead quality is super, super important. Now, when it comes to offer quality, this is basically just on a scale of 1 to 10, how good is the product that you're offering, the price point, and like the competitiveness of it if it's in a kind of like a saturated market. So those two are the main things really, because if you have an amazing, fantastic price point and an okay product, guess what? Offer fantastic, right? If you can beat your competition by selling things at 1/10 of the price and delivering the same results, that's a fantastic offer, right? Whereas if you have a product which no one else has and it's super unique, has a ton of utility, guess what? Fantastic offer again, right? So now that you understand how each of the metrics relate, I wanted to give you a few of some like specific examples and scenarios, because when it comes to actually optimizing your emails, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a situation where it's a combination of these variables, and you're gonna have to be a bit of a detective in the sense that you're gonna have to kind of like untangle this mess of all of these metrics and then be able to isolate, okay, cool, let's start with this problem and then fix our way down, right? So for example, if your traffic quality sucks and your lead quality sucks, then meaning your conversion rate will probably suck. So rather than trying to fix like landing page issues or whatever, you want to fix your traffic quality first, right? Because traffic quality is directly correlated with lead quality. Or another example, if your open rate is low, but your click-through rate is high and your conversions are low, so as in you're not getting enough sales from this campaign, but you see your click-through rate is super high, your open rate is super low, then that probably means your offer is great. It's just a case of segmentation, subject lines, or deliverability, right? You want to fix your open rate first because your click rate is low, meaning not enough people are actually going onto the website, meaning not enough people are actually converting. So as you see from these two scenarios, each scenario involves multiple of these metrics that I highlighted and defined earlier in this video, but only one of them is the root cause of everything, right? So you want to find out what that root cause is and optimize from there. Understanding each of these and what each of these means will help you form better decision-making frameworks when it comes to optimizing your email systems. By the way, like what I just said doesn't just apply to email. You can apply the same type of thinking as well when it comes to ads. So before I give you a present, I wanted to give you also a quick message from the sponsor of this video. Yes, we have a sponsor. Hey guys, it's me again. So of course we don't actually have a sponsor for this video because this channel is like freaking tiny, But after being asked to do a course and a training program for almost 2 years at this point, I have finally done it. And no, it's not gonna be some go from 0 to 10K a month SMMA course or agency program course.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
It's nothing like that, right? I'm not here to teach make money online tactics and try to help everyone achieve 6 figures. That's honestly not what I really want to be doing at this point. But it's actually to teach you a serious skill which is highly, highly sought after by companies, brands, e-commerce businesses, and that is the skill of email marketing. So if you're a brand owner, this is the kind of like target demographic I mainly had in mind when it came to creating this program. I really created this for brand owners and not actually beginners, right? So what I mean by this is I wanted to help brand owners take control of their email channels and make things in-house straight away, just because it's going to save them some money, and also just having your team build up equity and skill is something that is super, super valuable, right? I still am going to be managing clients end to end for the email service, but this is just a training program that's designed to educate people on the skill itself. Now, of course, being a skill that teaches you how to perform email marketing end to end, it's also going to help agencies and freelancers learn how to actually deliver an incredible service and retain clients for longer, right? Email, in my opinion, is such an undervalued channel at the moment, just because when compared to like Facebook, which is pretty much like a total red ocean at this point, emails is still incredibly undervalued, right? 9 times out of 10, the brands that I speak to, if they book in a call with me and I just take one look at their email systems, I just know that it's not where it needs to be, right? Maybe like 2 in 10, like 1 in 5 is actually doing a decent job. If you're interested in learning from me, then down below is actually a sign up form to my mailing list. Right? To sign up to this mailing list is totally free. It's not going to hard sell you onto anything, but it is going to enroll you into a welcome series where it's a series of emails giving you value, giving you tutorials, breaking down a bunch of free bonuses and training for you guys essentially. And when my course does launch in about a week and a half's time, you're also going to get a special early bird discount, right? So sign up to the list. It's completely free. You're going to get some value out of it. And when the time does come, you're going to also be able to save some money.